Doing
Good.
great. Doing great here, Aubrey.
I know you're well, Alex. I could tell by your vigor a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Uh, JR, we're checking in on you from across the pond. How are you doing today?
I'm okay, thank you.
Oh,
All
wow.
good.
Thank you. Great to be here. And also, Jay, how's it going? Are you in transit? If not, if you are, then we'll understand.
No, I'm good. I'm here. And JR, did you get a little more bass in your voice?
I
Ooh.
know, right? Oh, yum,
Ooh.
yum.
Yeah, the bass
Ooh.
turns up when there's no visuals.
Ah, I love it. I love it. His podcasting voice. Sonia G, how are you today, dear?
I'm well, honey. How are you? How's everyone?
Grand.
I'm
Yeah,
so good, so blessed right now. Everything's all good.
everything is all good. Well, guys, okay, so this has been going around for probably almost a week now, basically, right? We all heard Iyanla like shots fired when Iyanla asked the question, "Would you date a bus driver?" to Ebony K. Williams. Like, wow, like everybody has just went nuts about like, well, I don't know, like, is she being classist? Is she being elitist? Um, what do we think? What do we think about? Well, first of all, I guess we're in this space where Iyanla was invited on the grill to talk about the masculinity of some women, right? And this question gets asked by Iyanla to Ebony specifically, who is a single black woman, 39, maybe going on about 40 years old, an educated attorney. Ask her, would she date a bus driver? Sonia, what are your thoughts about that? When you saw the interview, what were your instincts and what were your thoughts initially?
My thoughts were that Iyanla was trying to explore something. Ebony asked several times about getting help with dating and walking in her feminine and being more feminine, getting out of her masculine. And I think from a coach's standpoint, I understood what she was trying to do. It was like, okay, let's try to explore your mindset around dating. What's the first thing you think of? I think that's what was being done there. But we kind of got stuck on the bus driver situation. But it spoke volumes, I'll say that.
Mm. I'm gonna come back to you on what exactly when you say it spoke volumes. I'm not quite clear where you're
Okay.
going with that. But could you tell me a little bit about it?
It spoke volumes because she had a visceral response. So she automatically said no, right? She was just like, no. If
Hmm.
he own well, she didn't say no because I know on the spies like she didn't say no. She didn't say no. She said if he owned the bus. And that's to say you're not willing to learn anything else unless he's a owner. You stop at owner, which there isn't anything wrong with that. But if you're saying I've been dating men in my class and I've been dating men across ages and I've been dating men across races and I'm still having a problem, and on my dates they tell me, let's not be a lawyer, you may want to think about doing something different. Let's think about your mindset. Like, how are you thinking through dating? How are you choosing your partner? That may be where your barriers are. That's what I got from it.
Okay, okay, that's fair. Jr. What are your thoughts about this? When you heard it across the pond, what were you thinking? Is it the same way where you live? Do women typically have similar thoughts as American women, or what would you say?
No, they don't actually. It seems to be a very US specific
Mm.
problem. Masculine and feminine energy isn't a battle that takes place over here in the majority of relationships. Um, but I wasn't actually mad at what Ebony said because she's entitled to her preference. And my first reaction was, okay, but are you your preference is preference?
Mm. What do you mean when you say, "Are you your preferences preference?" What do you mean exactly?
Okay, so what I mean is, okay, she's outlined. in this particular instance that she would like to date the man that owns the bus rather than the bus driver, right? Meaning there's a certain level of financial upgrade in that situation, right? So those guys that may be earning that much money, are they looking for women in the position that Ebony Williams is in for the most part? Like you said, she's educated, she's a lawyer, she's somewhat of a social media personality as well. I had never heard of her until this uproar about what she said. But, you know, is she the type of person that the person she wants to be with is looking for? That was my first reaction.
Okay. Ron, I see you over there chillaxing. I see you on your vacay, and everything else. Could you tell us, please, sir, what are your thoughts?
I took it more as, I didn't take it as 100% as a money thing. I thought she was kind of like image dating. And you see a lot of women in that age bracket that are single, men too, that are single. They kind of date for an image. I think if you would have not said bus driver, but said, would you date a firefighter? She might have been with that, because we have a picture of a fighter, that guy with the cat, helmet on and shirt off with the thing on, saving lives or something like that. And then you look at a bus driver, it's just always the picture of some fat dude sitting on a bus, belly out, not very attractive. That's why when she switched it to entrepreneur, when you look at entrepreneur, you can think of a guy who's versatile. He can wear a suit, he can do this and do that. I think a lot of women want to date an image at a certain stint. And that's why Ayana was like, what about the person? That's why you're single, because you're not taking any values of the person. You're still, in your mind, have this image of this guy that you want, and he's in a suit and this and that, and is no characteristics about the actual person. Like you see like women who want to date like the guy who's a corporate thug. I think what Alex says all the time and stuff like that. And it's like, that doesn't exist. You can't have a corporate guy who really in the streets like that. It's just an image that you kind of thought of in your head, and that's not going to be your man. You need to be really thinking about real characteristics that you want in a guy.
Wow. We got a comment up here on the screen, and I don't know if you can't see it. I'm going to go ahead and read it. And I want to ask specifically the men first this time. I know we normally say ladies first, but this time men first. After I read it, I want to get your thoughts about this particular comment. So D says that in many cases, men are intimidated by women who make more money than they do. The men may think they can deal with it, but get resentful once they are actually in the relationship. Alex, we haven't heard from you yet. What are your thoughts about that? Do men get intimidated by women who make more money?
Well, I think for the most part, that's a myth. I was triggered initially by what Ebony K. Williams said, because personally, in my life and my upbringing, I was always told and felt that women made me feel less than. I wasn't good enough, so forth. That was in my very early years. As I became an adult, of course, that changed. I had more than my share, and I'm happy about that. But it kind of triggered me to go back to that place where women made me feel like I wasn't good enough. And I think that's what a lot of people felt with the Ebony K. Williams comment, that okay, if you out and you trying to catch a bus, you need the bus driver. He's not beneath you. You need him to get where you're going. If you go to a hotel and the room service and housemaids giving you a nice clean linen, a beautiful bathroom to sit in and all, you need them. But do you think they're beneath you? They're servicing you. And we're on this planet, all of us, to be of service. And if you lead with money, okay, then this is when you're going to find yourself in a position that Ebony K. Williams is in. She have not found a mate. She's dated dudes with money and been treated like crap. Her last relationship was a white guy with some money and some kids who dogged her. He didn't treat her well. Okay, you can't lead with money. Lead with character first. Lead with integrity. Is he a nice person? Does he treat
Lead,
me well?
lead
Okay.
with big behinds first too. Go
No,
ahead.
no.
Go
I
ahead.
know, I
Go
know, I
ahead.
know, I know you're gonna get into that, Aubrey, but I'm not getting into that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's funny
Listen,
that when black women want to have preferences, when we state our preferences, and when someone who is on camera states her preference, like the brother that's always looking around for the big booty and a smile, all of a sudden now he's worried about character. He ain't said character damn time to his boys. He ain't said character to his friends that's looking out for him. He like, man, do she have a big booty and a smile? Okay,
well,
that's really interesting.
first of all, you asked me personally. You didn't cut nobody else off but me. You want to cut me off?
Oh, wait a minute. You were almost finished, sir. You know what?
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Your mic is being muted right now. Okay, so that's you. I asked you to go first. Okay, so now, Ryan, what are your thoughts about it? What are your thoughts about the comment about the intimidation, about men being intimidated by women who earn more? Because you've probably dealt with this situation before. So what are your personal thoughts about it?
Let me put the women on some game, right? I'm gonna be as real as possible on this. And I had to learn this the hard way, right? Women really want a man that makes more money than them. It makes them feel in their feminine and things of that nature. What they say is they'll date a guy making the same amount of money as them. And this is for the women to make big money, real money. Or they'll date a guy that makes a little less. And those relationships won't work. Because in order for him to get it, you and your feminine, he's going to have to still pay the mortgage. He's going to have to still pay for most of the entertainment because you're going to want him to pick up those bills. And then he's going to resent you by saying, hey, we make the same amount of money or you make a little more than me, but I'm over here doing the heavy lifting and it ain't fair. And he's going to end up leaving and going somewhere else where he can shine in that position if he's making that type of money. The only way that relationship really works is if she dates a guy who makes zero to no money, where the expectation is he don't got it, so I got to pay for everything, and that's just that's the expectations. Or because and let me finish. If she dates a guy who makes more than her, it's a good chance that she's not going to qualify for that guy. What she needs to do instead of dating a man and looking at his money, she needs to look at his skill set. And what she needs to do with that skill set is then put him on a bag. So if you're a real estate, if you go on a real estate company and you do countertop tables or granite or something like that, and you see a lot of sinks, you meet a guy that's an A1 master plumber, you say, hey, I got 36 plumbing accounts I can put you on, and you can get another person there and we can build you a business. Now, if you're making $400,000 a year, you put him on a business where he's making $800,000 a year. Now he can pay for the mortgage, pay for the dinners and everything like that. And he's going to show loyalty to you because you put him on. Women got to start thinking outside the box. You didn't get a chance to build with a guy in your 20s. If you're going to do it in your 40s, you got to put him on. Get a guy with a skill set that you can use, and you put him on to different connections. If you're in a room with a bunch of men all the time, you're not getting the business because you're not a man, and the guys are talking about golf and things of that nature, find you a guy who looks good in a suit and that can talk and knows how to golf and put him on those accounts. And let him make more money, and once he gets that bag, he'll treat it on you. It's an expectation. Wow. I'm going through it right now, so I get it. The girl I'm dating now makes a lot more money than me, but she understood that with my sales skill set and what she does, she can put me on a bag. And what she does when she wants to go on a jet or something to whatever like that, it's okay now because I got it now because she helped me get there because she had the connections. I got the skill set. She got the connections. Put them on. And a lot of women have these connections because they can move in rooms that men can't. They can see things men can't. Look for a skill set. Don't look for what he makes.
Ron, what you're speaking about, Ron, is an anomaly. Your situation is almost like an anomaly. And here's why I say that. Most men, we want to go out there and make the money. We want to become successful, get our mansion, get our cars, get our big salaries or own our big businesses or whatever. Then we want to look for a woman to come in and help us build a family with, now that we have the means. A woman can go out there and build up from nothing and get her mansion and her businesses and all her money and whatever. She don't want to share it with no man. And any man that comes in and try to share it with her, unless he has more, to your point, She's gonna put him down. She's not gonna maybe bother with that.
Can,
And that's a huge different dynamic between men and women who have means.
can I
But
can
that's
I
her,
get
her relationship with money. But I don't want her to share the money. I want her to share the connection. The opportunity is worth more than the money. The connection is worth more than the money. If the guy has the skill set and the work ethic to roll with it, she just need to put him in position and pick the right man with the right skill set and work ethic who could do the rest from there. And that's all she has to
Again,
do. She don't got to share her money.
again, it's an anomaly what you're talking about.
Okay, can we get JR to tap in on this? Mr. JR, can you tap in on how men actually feel what was the word she used again? Do they feel
Inferior, more or less.
intimidated? Yes, thank you.
I don't think so. I think what happens is with the increased salary and the corporate environment, there's a tendency for the woman to come home and kind of let that go to her head to the point where it demeans, or she can take shots at the guy because she earns more. And it's not that he will feel intimidated. He'll literally feel like it's a way to undermine him or to try and combat him, try and be competitive in the household. So I don't think men are in uproar about her standards. That's fine. I think most people agree she's entitled to her standards. She can date whoever she wants to date. But finding the are there enough men that earn that much money that she's looking for available at the moment? She might, I know she's probably had relationships with guys across the board, like she said, but as it pertains to black men, which is where the conversation has started to shift for some reason, black men aren't earning that much money in that high amount of numbers. And if they are, they're athletes, musicians, and entertainment and things like that. They are not in corporate like that. Corporate is not really set up for black men to succeed in the amounts that she's probably looking for. So because there are women getting those education and financial opportunities, men aren't getting that in the high numbers. They have to pretty much be real about it. Some are cut out for corporate, some are cut out for sports and athletics, some are cut out for entertainment and tradesmen.
Trades, yes.
Right.
Skilled trades are excellent. Thank you for
exactly.
bringing that up.
Right. You can be self-employed, a tradesman, and if it's the right trade in plumbing, your winter comes, your business is going to boom. It might be seasonal. If you're a carpenter, you know how to build wardrobes and dressing tables and all types of stuff, right?
Electrical.
Right. And if you're working for yourself in the right area, in the right market, you could be very successful in that. I think the issue is the snobbery. So if just because your partner is working in corporate and she's doing well for herself financially, if she then comes home and starts to exude that snobbery or that attitude on her man, then that's obviously going to make her man feel like this may not be the right person for me because she's putting me down instead of allowing me to build and grow, which is what my role is supposed to be.
Okay. All right. That makes perfect sense. Let's get the ladies in here to join in about the discussion about some men feeling intimidated, not all, but some men that may feel intimidated. If you've experienced that or witnessed that or talked to or had girlfriends that have had that experience where they dated someone, let's say they're white collar, they dated someone, a bus driver, like Ron said, a fireman, a policeman, a police officer, right? They dated someone and they're maybe not in the same tax bracket, but they like this person. Everything's going well. Is it almost inevitable that these men in that situation will become or feel intimidated? Mocha, could you join in?
Yes. I know women that have dated men that have made less than them, and sometimes the situations have worked out and sometimes they haven't. it all depended on the people, their attitudes, and that had a lot to do with it, their upbringing. You know, those things factor into it, getting to know a person and seeing where they want to take, you know, where they want to go in life, you know, and really accepting the person for who they are and where they're at. And with Ebony, I mean, I don't fault her for her preference. That's her preference.
Okay.
But it's the comments that she made after, that's where I have a problem.
Yeah, she doubled down.
Yeah, when
Okay.
She did
Okay.
worse
So
than double down.
yeah,
tell us about that, Mocha. Tell us
well,
about the doubling down.
well, after she talked to Iyanla, that was fine with what she said with Iyanla. I didn't, that didn't bother me at all. She
Can
has
you
her
adjust your
preference.
mic just a little bit, or maybe
Oh,
the volume up a little bit, or closer to
okay,
your mouth a
let
little
me
bit,
see.
please?
Well, just the comments she made with Iyanla, I didn't have an issue with. She could say whatever she wants. She could want whoever she wants. That's no problem. When she came back a couple days later and she talked about mediocrity and acted like she was windmilling for black people, or she expected more for black people, that's when I was like, slow the car down, Ebony. Like, no, sis. Like, you're not gonna, in your preferences of what you want, try to put down regular people. And to me, I consider regular people, everyone who is not a celebrity is a regular person. This is in my view. And that's because I have people who are doctors, lawyers, professors, everything that I've worked with in my family and in social circles I've been in. So to me, they're regular people because those jobs that they have are, anyone can go to school and become a doctor. This is my thinking. It's about you putting the work in to do so. So those are attainable goals if that's what you want to do. So for her saying, you know, her throwing the dirt on the black community and talking about people that are C's and D's, like, who is she to say
Why
that about
why did that?
anybody?
Let me ask a question. Let me take it out a little bit further. And ask someone else. And thank you for that.
Okay.
So a lot of people seem to be feeling that Ebony disparaged the average working class guy, people even, that she disparaged black people who she mentioned about mediocrity and grades of C's and D's. Jay, what are your thoughts about that?
It's not a thought, she did. If you
No,
listen
no,
to
no.
it,
Right. I know
no, yeah,
I
but
know
I'm
wait,
saying
okay.
she flat out did. You know what I'm saying? This is when she went into that, like Mocha said, it started off fine. That's your preference. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you got the backlash, I'm not saying that you can't go at these people however you want to go at these people that gave the backlash, but go at those people. You brought in a whole community of people that never existed in the first conversation, because when you opened up the conversation, you made it clear that you dated across the board. So this wasn't just a black thing. But all of a sudden, when we doubling down on the response, it's now narrowed all the way down to black men and the black community, black parents on top of it. It started getting all of this just about how our community, and yes, these are topics that we do need to talk about, but our community are mediocre, lackluster, that we're not accomplishing things, we're not average. And then at the end of it, she says, and yes, I will not date an average person. So therefore, you stood your ground on what you said originally. Now you're trying to sit here and try to attack the black community, which you're still supposed to be a part of. You're still a black woman at the end of the day. Okay. And you want to get on the Breakfast Club and sit here and say, well, this is, I'm trying to help my community. I'm advocating for the community. I don't understand that these are topics that we do need to have a discussion about. And that's why we're doing it. And we've been doing it all week long. But that was not a very productive way to start the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
To sit here and get people up in an uproar and get them irate, that already dismisses a whole bunch of people from listening to you.
That's why DJ Envy went at her so hard, Jay. He went at her very
it
hard.
didn't matter because when you match that energy going back, she stops listening. That's why she doubled down and said, I don't care about the feelings.
Mm-hmm. But she needed it. She needed somebody to come at her like that.
Yeah, but when you see what I'm saying, you say she needed somebody to come at her like that, and her response was,
Wow.
I don't care about your feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So therefore, you coming at her like that didn't make her do nothing but go back into a corner and fight out again. Because she's already told you in the original statement with Ayanna that she has been unprotected. So all she knows how to do in this moment is fight. She is screaming for help that I am hurting. And the real problem is, and why it came down to the Black community, is because her father has let her down. The first man that was supposed to love and protect her has let her down. Then every man that came along her line of growing up, which more than likely was probably Black men to start with, has let her down. Now we have an attack all out on all Black men because the ones that she has chosen in life outside of her father, because she didn't choose that one, all the other ones that she has chosen has let her down, even to the point when she goes outside of the Black race, the men still let her down. You know, and I'm not saying it's men's fault. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's the men's fault like this all the time, because as we get to a certain age as women, we need to learn how to choose better for ourselves. Our parents, they start off a certain way. And when we get to a certain age, we'd be like, I don't want a man like my daddy, or my daddy showed me the best love ever, so I want a man like him. And so that's on us at that point. But to start off, she was unprotected. So this is her cry to the world. Y'all have failed me. And so she's lashing out on every last Black man, which is not the case. Not what she should be doing to make it better. Yes, it starts the conversation, but that was the wrong approach, sis. That was the wrong way to do it. If you want to move people, move them with love.
Okay. Is there ever a good time for a Black woman to state a preference publicly? I mean, like, I appreciate what you're saying, Jay, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer that question because I sat and I thought about how the best way she could have answered that question. And I'm gonna be honest, she's gonna piss somebody off no matter what. We get up here and we get on this platform when we try to be as nice about stuff when we do Ready to Love and all this, but we piss somebody off no matter what. You're going to piss somebody off. But absolutely. I don't have a problem with people stating their preference. It's the matter of how they do it. And that's why she got as much feedback as she got. And that's why she's losing as much support she's trying to gain from the Black community, or especially us Black women. She's trying to gain from us because she's trying to tap into our emotions of being hurt with Black men and stuff. But that was the wrong move, because what it was is that's your preference. That's all you had to double down on is, I understand what y'all saying over there, but I worked hard to be in the position that I am. And I feel like I deserve a man that can take care of me. And unfortunately, in the position that I am, the lifestyle that I have garnered for myself, this particular bracket of man, this particular class of man, I need him. No disrespect to the bus drivers out there. You guys do your thing or whatever it is. She could have followed up just like that, and it could have been dead and over with. We can't say nothing to her about her preference because she worked for it.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
I want to well, first I want to say hey to all the ladies in the room, Jay, Mocha Mima, my girl Sonia G up there, JR, who I've never met, and of course you, Aubrey. I want to say this. When JR mentioned that, women, preferably Black women, because as Jay is saying, it kind of derailed. It went off the rails. It became an attack on Black men in the Black community. Okay. And what Black women need to understand is that I was raised by Black women. I owe a lot to Black women because when I was a kid, the men in my family, fathers, uncle, older cousins, they were running the street, skirt chasing, hoeing around. They was doing that kind of stuff. And the women, the ones that kept us structured, fed us, made sure we did our homework, made sure we bathed, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So I say that to say that her preferences, I have a lot of respect for what Black women have to go through and survive in this society. But you know who got it harder than even them? Black men who are trying to do something in this society have a very difficult time just based on the fact that we're men. Now, women have it hard, but men have it hard. And the reason why I say that is this. Think about the amount of times help comes into the Black community and disregards the men, but wants to help the women. Couldn't even get welfare unless the Black woman had no man in the house. Okay, even up until, and this is the 60s and 70s. Now, even up to now, Goldman Sachs just announced like 2 weeks ago, I'm going to come into the Black community and with $2 billion and build that community, but not the men, just the women. And we have to ask ourselves, why is this happening? A lot of this is what's affecting our thinking when it comes down to, oh, Black men ain't doing this, Black men are not doing that. And then we would turn the TV on. She's the first Black judge of the Supreme Court. She's the first Black woman to do this, the first Black woman to do that. Well, it stands to reason that there's a target, there's a strategy going on here by the elitists. And we can't allow ourselves to put humanity second and fall for this plan that the elitist is running on us. Because you have puppets, and you have puppet masters.
Alex, you really want to go there, Alex?
It's a different podcast, Mocha.
Yeah, it is a totally different podcast because I don't think that's a smoke you really don't want right now. That's the smoke you really don't want.
Mocha,
we're
having, hold on. First of all, nobody wants any smoke. We're having a discussion, an adult discussion. I'm really having a difficult time hearing you. I'm not sure what's going on with your headphone, your headset, but could you please adjust it so that it's louder?
Yes.
And what is it that you want to share with Alex and the rest of us, if that is related to this topic?
Because we don't want to talk about the Black woman, we don't want to have a struggle Olympics about the Black woman and the Black man.
No, really don't.
Because in the community, it's the Black woman I'll be generous and say out of 8 out of 10 homes, it's the Black woman. If it's a single home, it's the Black woman that has the children. And
I started with that.
So that may
talk,
be why,
please, Alex.
That may be why more resources will go to the Black woman, because the Black woman is the one that is the primary caregiver for the Black children in the home that needs the help. And the Black men, if in a single parent home, the Black men are not in there. It's the single parent home, usually because it's the Black woman. So she needs the resources to help with the family. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to adjust my headset.
Okay, thank you.
She's perfectly clear to us, Aubrey. I'm not sure. I hear her perfectly.
Okay, I'm running the podcast. Thank you. Sonia, can you chime in?
Where do I start?
At the beginning.
Ooh, I want to send out some love and light. Okay.
Absolutely. Because we're going to keep this respectful. That's what we are going to do here.
Okay, let me just say this as it pertains to Black women and Black men. I think, and this is something that honestly, truly, truly, truly breaks my heart. We forget that we are human, and the Black experience is the Black experience, right? I've had men tell me that we don't go through things. There are men who don't believe, Black men who don't believe that women have been, seriously, there are Black men who don't believe that women have been raped. And it all comes from, I am in my pain, and because I am in so much pain, I don't have room for you. Correct. And yours. I can't empathize with you. I can't sympathize with you. I can't have compassion. But we are fighting each other, and it's not getting us anywhere, right? Correct. In the workforce, I get a hard time. I don't always feel safe in certain environments. I have been violated. I have been molested by people I loved because they were supposed to be my protector, and I have been chased down by people I didn't know. Men have been lynched. I get followed in the store. You get followed in the store. Our men have been butt broken. Like, there's been a lot that has happened across it in our community. This is not a gender war, but we're making it a gender war, and we can't get anywhere because of it. And now, now it's like, oh, well, you can't have a preference and you can't have a preference. Here's the truth. The truth is there are some women who have preferences and they don't think beyond the money. The truth is there are men who have preferences and they don't think behind the body. And then next thing you know, everybody's upset because the person I picked based on my preference has left me brokenhearted once again. Okay, so Iana was saying, let's think past what you've been thinking on. That's all. It wasn't about a bus driver per se, but it's like, do you shoot somebody down automatically without knowing that? Let me tell you, I was talking to my guy friend about this, and he told me, he was like,
Go ahead while I pour this wine. Go ahead.
okay, he said, my son has a teacher that's worth $2 million. He had a company, he owned a company, he sold the company because he wanted to focus on teaching. He wants to help Black men. But if someone who was to meet him who say, I only want an owner, you would never know that this owner is worth $2 million. And his heart and his passion is into pouring into the Black community. You know what I'm saying? That's where we have a disconnect. We can't see another Black man or Black woman as human. We side with each other, but we don't see as human. And that is the breakdown of our community. And that has been the conditioning that has been done to us. That is the colonizers doing their work at its best. And we're stuck in it. That is what I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say something to what Sonia just said? Because I just watched the thing today of talking about how
Please, Jay, please do while I drink this wine.
It was basically on Sonia was saying the unspoken truth about slavery and how they had breeding farms and all that. And as I was listening to it, I was just listening to how we are still like we are a part of those breeding farms today, that they still have us so mentally trained in our head that we feel like we have to compete with one another the way that we do in such a negative manner, that we feel like we have to please certain people to get the status or the recognition of things. And we're so broken as a community that, you know, you could, like, even to tie in what Alex was saying, that once the government started entering our homes and telling the Black woman, oh, I will give you money, but this man can't be here. It was one of those things, well, I need the money, so you got to go or whatnot. And it was just easy for the man just to go. It made it just more easier for the home to be broken. Since they have bombed Black Wall Street and flooded out all of our Black homes and communities, we've been sitting here struggling and drowning underneath the water, trying to come back up and build ourselves back together. And for whatever reason, we were the strongest right out of slavery than we ever been. And we cannot seem to get back to that. And I mean, it's a lot of factors that have come in over the course of time that messed us up. But it's just like
Jay, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I want to be clear on something. I want to understand something a little better. Are you saying we were strongest like during the Reconstruction period? Is that what you're speaking to?
Yes.
But do you realize part of the reason why was because laws were enacted and things were put in place so that we could have equality. And then once Blacks excelled, African Americans excelled and became senators, congressmen, business owners. Once we had built up the place in Oklahoma that was burned down. Somebody help me, please.
Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right. Okay. So once all those things happened, then what happened? We had pseudo laws enacted and passed where Blacks went back another 100 years.
No, that's what I'm talking about here. Like, that's the thing. And just as you were saying, Aubrey, in that moment, we were excelling as a unit.
Yes.
And that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden it's this war about, oh, well, the Black woman has been excelling faster than the Black man, and the Black man has been struggling in this. Now that's the whole argument now. It's no more of we excelling together. Because I was talking to my girl the other day and I was like, it was so funny during that time. Not only Black men was business owners, Black women was business owners, but she never sat here and threw it in the man's face. Oh, I own a business too, so you can't tell me this, that, and the third. It was still respect amongst one another. And that's what we seem to have lost as a community, as respect for ourselves and each other, you know. And I think that's what we need to get back to. And I understand that people keep saying that Ayanna was wrong for saying to the bus driver, would you date a bus driver? No, what Ayanna did was make her do self-inflection, and a lot of us do self-inflection about that question. The bus driver is not a person that beneath you. Service worker is not people that are beneath you unless you feel that way.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that's what Ebony feels. And it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Because her next question should have been more so, well, it depends on how this, that, and the third. If we align spiritually, if we still have core values, if we share family values the same, if he's good with money, it could have been a lot of questions
Oh,
she
for some
could have
reason, I thought you were about to say if he's good in bed. Okay, I'm sorry.
that too, though. That too, you know, but
If
we
he's
might
got
not.
penis, if
It
he's
might
got a
take a
good
little more time to
penis, some
get
eggs.
there. I might stay with him if he there, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
that's
he
later
can
on
do
in the
a lot
relationship.
sometimes.
That's later on in the relationship, you know. But you know,
Excuse me while I sip my wine. I'm sorry.
but it just should have been more questions. It shouldn't have been automatically if he's the owner. He could remember when we had this talk with Carvey about Carvea and Linden. And it was
Yes,
a
yes.
matter of we not really knowing what state Linden is. Linden could have been in a transitional state. Linden could have been in the state, I want to buy a home. So I decide I'm going to save money by having a roommate. It could have been so many reasons Linden had a roommate, but Corvea immediately dismissed him.
And you know something, Jay, to all your points and to Sonia's point as well. To Mocha Mima, a different podcast, but I will be glad to come along with you and get some of that smoke on a different podcast.
Yeah.
But let me say this: I'm an average, everyday guy. I'm not famous. I don't have those kind of ambitions or whatever to be famous or whatever. I'm a very low key guy, average, okay, but yet I own property, I own stocks, I own cryptocurrency. I drive a Hummer. All right. That's on the surface. Beneath that, I'm a great father, great grandfather, great sibling, all these different kind of things. I take care of people. Okay. And that's in this society where money is everything, because this society is a capitalistic one where money trumps everything. Okay. But I'm still of the mindset, my brother's keeper. I'm still of the mindset of the great Muhammad Ali quote, service is the rent we pay for the right to stay on this planet. Because I tell all of you guys, you could be a multi-billionaire or you can make $40,000 a year. But if tomorrow the earth started to move closest to the sun and within 30 days the earth would explode, we're all in the same boat. I don't care how much money you got or how little you got. Okay, we have to take time, which I started with saying, to focus more on people, humanity, taking care of each other. Now, the Black community has its own set of problems. We know that. And Ebony K. Williams started a great discussion. I give her her props for that, and she's entitled to her preference. I don't have a problem with who she dates, but if you're going to date outside of your race, you want to date a white guy, don't put black people down. Don't put black men down and go sit next to a white guy who's not treating you well too, who's dogging you as well. You know, you could that's like a person weighing 600 pounds coming into a gym and saying, I'm going to teach everybody in here how to be skinny. You could never be an effective spokesperson for your people if you're really for your community, if you date outside and put your people down, because you're always going to be torn between the loyalty for your community. You're going to be torn between it. Okay, you always cut me off. Okay, you're going to be torn between loyalty to your community and loyalty to the person that you're married to, dating, or the person that you love. You're going to be torn, and they're never going to understand your plight because they don't come from where you come from.
I'm saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm saying that I strongly disagree that a Black woman who has lived a Black experience in America cannot offer us anything in conversation, discussion, debate, or dialogue about the Black experience that she has experienced, whether she's next to a white man or not. And get ready and get used to seeing it because it's everywhere. Our Supreme Court Justice, our Serene Williams, our Eve the rapper, our Melody Hobson, who's married to George Lucas. So get used to it, sir. Get used to it. And we will have something to say, whether you like it or not.
Well, I don't, but go ahead.
But, we didn't like it maybe when you was walking down the street with Becky, but we kept our crown on and we kept it moving. Okay?
Mm-hmm. You can see me with Becky.
I saw you with Becky. I saw you with Becky, and I
It
saw
was
what Becky said about your baby mama, your ex-wife. I saw all of that.
it
Oh yeah,
wasn't Becky. It wasn't Becky. It was Sue
it
Ann.
was Becky, Sue Ann, Josephine, whatever you want to call her. Her name wasn't Keisha. I bet you that.
This just took a
White
whole
woman
unexpected turn.
All right. So moving on along. Let me mute his mic.
You do that.
JR. We're gonna come back to you now because something you said earlier when you were talking, and it sounded very interesting. And we got someone in the chat that's also from the UK, and I'm sure people will be coming in through the replay because this is a very popular topic. But I want to get to understand. So you're telling me that over in the UK, this is not a major issue that Black men and Black women, they are all on the same accord. It doesn't matter if, let's say, some famous or TV worthy person that's on TV on a regular basis, like an equivalent of an Ebony Williams, right? If she's on TV and she would be fine with dating, let's say, the local bus driver. Explain it to me, like what's really going on with the relationships between Black men and Black women over in the UK, because I don't know. There was a whole coronation yesterday, and I swear I promise to you I don't know.
All right. Well, it's basically the fact that in the UK, first of all, nobody earns as much money as you guys do in the States. For the same job, for the same jobs that you guys have over there, we probably earn a third of what you guys get for doing the same thing.
What?
So if you do see a Black woman excelling, she usually has a level of humility and understanding, knowing that she worked to get there and she's an anomaly because she has gotten there. So then the expectation isn't on men to try and get to where she is, because then she knows that they're not afforded the same opportunities in most cases. Now, I have a mum that's always worked. My mother's always worked.
Okay.
My sister is a career professional, has always worked, is one of the most talented and most educated people I know personally. But my father has always been there. My dad is the breadwinner. My dad has always worked and provided for his wife, despite her having her own money. He's always provided for her. And he's also made sure that his children, all three of us, have been given the opportunities to become our own people and go out there and make our own money in this society. So, but I'm an anomaly because my father has been in the house and my father has been that breadwinner the whole time. And my mom and dad have been married for maybe 44 years,
wow,
which is an anomaly. So I can't then say that my experience personally is what the general, what is generally experienced either in the States or here, because in the Black community, as we know, it is often the case that Black men are not in the home. There are a lot of single mothers out there, and that's not a condemnation. That's just the reality. There are a lot of fathers who are not present for one reason or another. Sometimes it's their own doing or not doing. That's the reason. And sometimes the relationship doesn't work. So the best thing is for the couples to split up and co-parent instead of being in a marriage where they're just going to beef and it's going to affect the children. Now, the conversation that seems to be taking place with Ebony and Dr. Ayanla is it's a situation that predominantly affects the US because Black women are excelling in education. They're also making more money over there, whereas same, and that can't be disputed, because I'm sure if you look at most companies, they have their own quotas of Black women and Black men, and there's probably more Black women and Black men in those environments. I think the issue still comes back to the fact that the bus driver is another term for blue collar worker, and there are a majority in our community of blue collar workers. They are not all corporate professionals, and some don't have the aspiration to be, and some haven't been educated enough, and some don't have the opportunity to have that, right? Have the education either. So in the UK, there's basically a glass ceiling. So despite what you want to do as a profession, you may want to go into law, politics, teaching, some other vocation, nursing, doctors. Over here, we have strikes right now because a lot of companies, a lot of industries, if outside of the corporate environment, they're not paying their employees well across the board. And if you're not in corporate, you're not necessarily safe either, because there's crisis going on with banking and finance and all these other things, and companies are making layoffs. So your job's not secure that way either. So I don't think the level of, I want to say snobbery, but I would say a lack of humility, right? That comes with having those higher positions is here in the UK in the same extent. There isn't that, okay, you know what, you men are bums, you know, you're not keeping up with us, we don't have that battle here in the same conversations at all, nowhere near. And that's because there's a level of reality that sets in that realizes that where we are as Black people, we are not opening companies to the extent where we dominate or even a major factor in corporate world.
Thank you for that so much. I appreciate you, JR. I'm going to go back here to a comment that was made. I don't know this person per se, but would you address your thoughts or opinion on this comment that in the UK, 66% of Black men date or marry outside their race, and 40% of Black women do the same? Could you address that?
Yeah, like that is probably a very true statistic. And again, there's a level of reality. A lot of Black men that date outside of the race are not attractive to the Black woman. You know, so they're not the oil painting.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not understanding. They're the men who date outside their race, they're not attracted to Black women, or they're not attractive.
And they're not attractive, meaning a lot of them, and not all, there are some that still are going to get Black women and you know, are in love with being with a Black woman, want to have kids and settle down and have a future with a Black woman. There's a lot of them, I myself included. But there are a lot of guys that I know personally, and when I look across, you know, Black Britain, there are a lot of Black men who wouldn't necessarily qualify for the women that they are looking for, right? And it's unfortunate, but it's a bit of a double standard in a way, because we as men are known to be more visual, but in a lot of cases that is also done by women. When they look at these men, they're like, oh, you know what, nah, he's ugly, he's busted, he's not attractive, I wouldn't give him the time of day, you know, that type of rhetoric. And a lot of Black men are also brought up by their mothers who have, let's say, traumatized them in some way by the way that they've handled them as they've been growing up. So that makes them not want to date a woman like their mother. They completely go the other way and say, you know what, I don't want the hard-headed, or I don't want the mouth, the venom that's spewed. I don't want that in my wife. So they think that dating outside is going to bring them a meeker, milder person who will just go along to get along.
So last question, and then I'm going to bring in some more of the panelists and let them speak. But last question. So am I inferring from what you're saying, would it be correct to say that also in the UK, there is a large problem with fatherless homes in the Black community there?
Yes, because, and it's not, it is in the Black community, but not as much as it is over there in the States. And also, there are a lot of white single mothers here. You know, the only culture that really doesn't have as many is the Asian community Indian community, they tend to have two-parent families for the most part. But single, we have a system here which is very, they probably copied you guys and made it so that a single mother can receive benefits, financial support. The father of the child has to be listed as either unknown or not in a relationship with them, because as a single mother, she's going to get those benefits. The guy has to either secretly be living with her and still dating her, because they've worked on that together to get the money, or he's just not present, so she needs that money for financial support. But we have a system very similar to what they've done to you guys.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. And that goes back to what Alex was saying. Alex, see there? You stick around long enough, somebody will jump on with your bandwagon and agree with you. But I get your point. I did get your point. So I'm just teasing. I don't want this to go over too long. It's a lot of interesting points. You guys tell me if I missed anything, because I do see that it has been a very emotional topic. Also for myself, for various reasons, Alex, obviously, and some of us here. But what I wanted to do was just to bring this discussion to our viewers and allow them to chime in. But I wanted to always keep it respectful. I really didn't. I think there was some of the panelists, you guys focused in, specifically on Ebony, which that's fine, because it was her question to answer, and she answered it the way that she did answer it, which caused a stir. But what I want us now to just kind of focus in on as we wrap this up is to just focus in on let's do this. I see how to make this equal. If Put yourself in Ebony's shoes for the moment, and Iyanla is asking you this on the air. This question that she asked: would you date a bus driver? And give us your best answer. And this goes for the men too. Okay, so we'll start with Sonia G. Sonia G, can you give us your best answer? I'm Iyanla, and you've been talking to me, and I've been talking to you, and I want to tell you about your dating. You're single, you've not been married, and you want help. You said, I want to get Iyanla on my show so I can ask her and talk to her. And I turn to you and I say, would you date a bus driver? What's your response?
I think Sonia's on mute.
I got it. Thank you, Alex. My response will be, it depends. I am a thinker. So for me, well, it's kind of unfair for me. For me, you have to be in a place where you know what you're looking for, and you know what you value and what's important to you. And the areas that you are weak, where you may want someone who is stronger, and I would ask questions like, if he had proper coping mechanisms, if he had a relationship with a higher power, if he had, like Iyanla said, if he was a person of integrity. I'm big on that, because it's the man without integrity that's doing all of the cheating and the things that you have to deal with. So for me, it would have to be more. But if that man is a bus driver and he's going to love on me, respect me, treat me right, he got his head on straight, he has a great money mindset, he is committed to a relationship, he wants a relationship in the same that I'm looking for, yeah, that's something I would explore. I wouldn't just X him out because that, but I've dated men that made great money, and I've dated men that made not so great money. It's the man. It's the man, because everything can come and go. And I work in healthcare. What's here today won't be here tomorrow. So I need some more substance. So that's for me.
All right. Very good. We're gonna crisscross this with the men. So Alex, if you could go next. I'm speaking to you. You're on camera right now. I'm Iyanla Van Zandt in all my glory. And I'm smiling at you, and I am saying, would you date a bus driver?
Well, the short answer is yes. Obviously, there are some things that will have to take place. Iyanla's answer Basically, in a nutshell, because if you date a person who loves what they do, have integrity, character, you know, treats their mama well, treats you well, whatever, that's somebody you can build with, regardless of what they do for a living, regardless of their profession or all that other stuff. Okay. I don't think that's what Ebony K. Williams understands, because I don't think she understands building with somebody who
We're
may
taking her
have.
out of it. We're taking her out
Okay,
of it.
okay, take her out of it. Okay, me myself, yes, because of those factors. If it's somebody that I'm mentally equal with, and we can get together and build something, we can both have quote unquote mediocre jobs and build stuff into the millions. You know, just like I gave myself an example earlier. You know, I'm an average guy. I have a lot for an average guy, but you would never know it seeing me walk down the street. Okay, so again, we have to look at the person and the character and treating each other as people on this earth, human beings, as opposed to putting a dollar sign first. That's my only issue.
Or a big booty and a smile. But okay, all right.
Well, you always go back to that. You must got a flat butt. You got a flat butt.
My Polish ancestors say I should hush right now. Okay. All right. We're gonna move on over to Miss Mocha. Miss Mocha, are you available to chat with us? I'm Ayanna,
Yep.
and you are on camera, and we want to know: would you date a bus driver?
Yes, I would. Yep, for the same reasons, like Sonia said. If I would have to get to know him, see if we're like-minded, see if things aligned with us, Also see if this is somebody who has worked a long time, that has enough. One of the things important to me is, do you have enough credits to get Social Security,
Ooh,
to
talk
get
about it.
Medicare? Because
Talk about it. Talk about it, girl.
thing. I
Bring that
also work in
practical stuff into
Medicare.
play. I heard that.
I also work in healthcare. So,
All right.
do you have credits to get Medicare? What is
Mm.
your plan for after retirement? Like that kind of stuff. Do you have a whole bunch of student loans that you deferred, and
You
defaulted
say
on, and that
you want
type
to
of
sit
stuff?
down with a tablet. You want to sit down with a tablet
Well,
and do a breakdown of it.
I'm
Okay.
gonna ask those. I'm gonna ask those probing questions, because that tells me a
Mm.
lot about you. That type of
Okay.
stuff is
All
going to
right.
tell me a lot about you as well, and see if it's just going to be a dating thing or if it's going to progress to more than that.
Mm. All right. All right. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Jay, thank you very much for that, Mocha. And you guys go over and subscribe to Mocha. All of our panelists here today have channels. Uh, Sonia G, coaching. Alex is magnetic repellent, and of course we have Mocha's channel up on the screen. It's Mocha Mima. And Jay, I'm asking you now. We're not talking about Ebony anymore. We're just saying individually. Would you date a bus driver?
In the words of our good sis Jeffrey, no. Why would I? No, just playing. No. No.
That baby voice in one last time. Huh?
No, on a serious note, I know we've been talking serious and fussing back and forth, so I had to bring the laughter back a little bit. But on
There
a
you go.
serious
There
note,
you go. Keep it light.
real life situation. Okay, I have been in a position where I've made more than a person I was with, and that was the outside of the current relationship I'm in. That was my best relationship. Okay,
Oh
I,
wow.
I still to this day love that man with my heart or whatnot. And I've never ever see that's the thing. And I know a lot of people love to talk about, oh, she in her masculine energy, all this stuff like that. But when I'm with my man, I never make him feel less than a man. Okay.
All
It
right
was a
now.
situation of him, and I'm gonna say this now. If you date down as a woman, you have to find a man that is confident and secure in his manhood, that understands he is in a temporary position, because that was the downfall of our relationship. It was just that him beating himself up for wanting to be able to do more with me. I was okay with being with him as we were, because I understood his process, I understood his plan, and I was willing to work with that plan. And that's the thing. Are you willing to work with that man's plan? I'm not saying that you have to be less than him. You could be his equal. He should make you his equal. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna say, just like I told on Kimberly's reviews channel last night, I come from a sports background. I play basketball. When we have positions, we have our place on the court. You play your position, I play mine. We are still a team. We're going for the championship no matter what. One of us has to be the team captain. My man could be the team captain, but that does not mean he do nothing but motivate me to get on the court every day and play my hardest game. That's what a team captain does. So that's what I need my man to be, as a team captain, but he is still an equal on the team. He has to play his position at 100%. I have to play mine at 100%. And that's what I need. A person that's going to come on here and be a partner with me no matter what we got going on in life. The days he's down, I'm going to be up. The days I'm down, he's up. And hopefully we could be up together majority of our relationship. And that's what I want. I don't care about your pockets. We can work on that. We can get that happening. Nowadays, you can create jobs, okay? You can be a business owner, not a business owner. I really don't care about that. But the integrity, like these ladies said already, what do our core values line up? Does our family structure line up? And can I get along with you and sit in silence on a regular and not feel pressured about anything that we got going on? I need love.
I'm going to say amen to that statement right there. Mm-hmm.
The amen corner. Woo-wee. And last but not least, Mr. JR XTV. What do you have to say? I'm a Yanla right now and you're on camera. Would you date a bus driver?
I most certainly would date a bus driver. And that's because it's not about her occupation. It's about our feelings, whether we love each other enough to be on the same page and make something successful and long-term with our relationship. The occupation can change. She can get a promotion or a demotion. She can change career, profession. It's not going to make me love her any less, whether she excels or she doesn't. The feelings that we have for each other is going to be the driving and determining factor of how the relationship goes, not what she does for a living. And I would also caveat that by saying, like, I would not appreciate being emasculated in my relationship at any point in time, because I'm that confident in my masculine energy. I do not want to come home to my girlfriend, wife, whoever, trying to outman me in my home, because my position is secure. I know who I am. My thing is if you are earning more, it doesn't need to go to your head to the point where you feel the need to think you're above me or treat me like that. Because unfortunately, that's going to lead to the end of our relationship pretty quickly, because we're going to be arguing all the time and jostling for position of who wears the pants. So, like I said, I would date the bus driver. I would date the lawyer. It doesn't matter. The tech analyst. It doesn't matter to me. It matters about how we feel about each other, whether we can actually make a relationship work. I would hate to think that if I had my children with the woman that I've chosen, and then because she earns more than me, she's going to turn around and start saying stuff around my kids or having the energy that's off towards me where my kids can pick it up and they don't respect me either. Right. So yeah, for me, the way I look at it, feelings matter. I didn't hear love mentioned in the Ayanla Ebony conversation, but that's what I would be leading with.
Right. And I love that you said that. I think you're one of the few panelists tonight that has used that word specifically. But as Sonia, I want you to get ready because you're going to close us out with the benedictions, ma'am. Okay, if you don't mind. But JR, I want to just ask you something for a little clarity. What is it exactly? So you did mention that you would date the bus driver, a lady bus driver, a lady attorney. So what is it that, can you give us some of the characteristics that are important to you as a man for a romantic relationship?
Well, first of all, being loving, caring, warm-natured is a fundamental for me. And some people might identify that as feminine energy. as I say, because that conversation isn't one that's really had over here, where you talk about masculine and feminine all day long, every day, battling each other. We don't have that. So loving, caring, and warm is the prerequisite. And then we can build off of that, because that will allow me to be loving, caring, and warm and affectionate and understanding and all the things I need to do as well. That unlocks my feelings. And it's not me being feminine, it's me being masculine, but still being loving in the way that I know how to be. And I've seen that work. Like every man in my family, I would say 95% of the men in my family are married, long term, still with the mother of their children. And I have a large family. So that's all I've seen. So, I really don't subscribe to the notion that because you get a promotion one day, then all of a sudden your feelings towards me change. Right. That's not going to work. That's going to be unstable. And then if you lose your job, now you're going to have to eat humble pie, because all that bragging you were doing when you were earning more, your company makes cuts. Your company makes job cuts. You don't have any say over that, but you're going to be affected, and now I'm going to have to cover you again.
Right.
Can I play devil's advocate to one last thing?
Yes, before we shimmy and shake on out here. Go ahead,
yeah.
Jay. Go ahead.
Okay, so I just was sitting here thinking about everybody that keep going at Ayana, and she shouldn't have asked that question. And I get some of it too, because the question was posed to Ayana about Ebony living in her masculine. And as JR was just speaking just now and talking about how women sometimes could show up in their feminine in those small ways, that's maybe where Ayana could have went with it too, is asking her how she shows up in her relationships, instead of asking her, would she date a bus driver? Because if she's still showing up in her masculine, she gonna date a bus driver and do the same thing anyway. And then that's Ebony really trying to find how I mean, I got to listen to the question again, because I can't totally remember how she posed it. Was it about finding a person, or me being me dealing with another person? So if it's me being me dealing with another person, yeah, maybe Ayana should have went to her and addressed her as, how are you showing up in your relationships? How do your femininity display itself when it's out? Like, maybe that's where we should have went with it. Yeah. So I can see some sides where you guys come at Ayana. She could have probably posed a different question. So
yeah.
And let me say, Aubrey, let me say this. You didn't answer the question. I'm a youngling now and posing the same question to you. We all answered. You didn't. What would your answer be? Would you date a bus driver?
I'm sorry. I'm hearing a large amount of static. I think you need to come back in and fix your mic. Yes, I would date a bus driver, to answer your question. And might I add, I noticed that everyone did have their prerequisites, their conditions. And of course, we've all had a chance to think about this. So I think that what I will end with is that I wish that we as a people and as a community and as individuals would give Ebony grace, regardless of who she's dating, who she has dated. None of that makes any difference. She's a person. She's a human being. And as we speak on humanity, I believe that makes her part of humanity. But now I'm going to shift it right on over to my smooth girl, Sonia G, because she's going to close us out with the benediction, and we're going to shimmy and shake our way on out of here. And thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much, all of you, all of our panelists.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you
so much
for having us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, JR. Appreciate you, and Alex, Jay, Okamima, and of course, Sonia G. Sonia G, you got the mic.
Well, I want to say thank you. Thank you to the panelists. Thank you to the chat. Thank you, Aubrey, for having this awesome conversation. And I just want to say at the end of the day, I am an advocate for self-love. How you love yourself dictates how you show up in your relationships. How you get to know yourself dictates who you choose to be in your life, because your partner is a choice. And I know there's a lot of individuals who are like, I was with someone and someone, they made less than me and they was on the couch that took my money and broke my heart. And all those stories are true. I know those stories, in my life. But what I will say, I've seen them in my life. But what I will say is that once you get to know yourself, once you healed yourself, once you can use your discernment, because your femininity, let me be clear, doesn't lie in a man. A feminine woman is a feminine woman. I own my femininity. There isn't a man who
Yeah.
dictates how feminine I am, right? That's me.
Yes.
I may feel safer with you, but you don't dictate my femininity. And so once you get in touch with your femininity, which is your healed self, that you will have discernment and you will know this man is not right for me. As a man, you would know this woman isn't right for me. You will know what you need that will nurture you and allow you to grow as a person, and what partner will best match you. So it's not so much about what people can do to you. You are the master of your own self and the people that come in and out of your life. It's up to you to see what you see and say, that's not for me. It's up to you to check in with your own intuition to say, you know what, this person isn't for me, or this person is for me, and we can grow. It's the love of yourself, it's your healed self that dictates who is in your life. And that's all I have to say.
Wow. I'm so glad that I chose wisely for you to close us out for benediction. I am humbled. I am impressed. All of you have been wonderful. We kept this conversation respectful and respectable. And I wish you all a good night. I thank our moderators, Ellen V and Monique King, who are awesome. I thank all the members who are in the chat and all that will watch on the replay. If you're watching on the replay, guys, leave us a comment and be sure to like the video. We're going to shimmy and shake our way on out of here, guys. Say bye.
Thank you, Aubrey. Bye bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.